Hi there, this is Chaos. And in the last class, we have discussed the first chapter of the sixth class NCERT Geography, the Earth in Solar System. Fine. So today we will discuss this second chapter, Globe, Latitude and Longitude. Fine. So as I've told you that we'll discuss, important concept and terminology. Fine. So first of all, this is the word mentioned globe. What is globe? Fine. So guys, what is globe? Globe. We can say a true form of Earth in miniature. A true form of Earth. Fine. This is what we call as a globe. How does it look like? Let me show you. True model of Earth. True form, or we can say true model of true form, or we can say true model of Earth is called as globe. Fine. Uh, Miniature form, small. Yeah, miniature means small form. As you can see, people, this is globe. Fine. This is because it is mentioned, some of the things about big size and small size. This is not a concern. This is what we can say. This is globe. Fine. Now let's discuss some other terms that are mentioned in this particular chapter. Now, what's the next term is that axis of rotation. Fine. Axis, guys. What is this particular term axis? When you see that uh, globe, what is axis? Look, people, this is the Earth. Fine. If you're able to observe that, I'm holding it. Fine. This Earth is not like a sphere. This is not a perfect sphere. A shape of Earth. Shape of Earth. It's not a perfect sphere. Not a sphere, or we can say pure sphere or perfect sphere. It is not a perfect sphere. Actually, uh, when you see it, fine. I guess it looks better now. Actually, I'm not good in drawing, especially making circles or triangles. Yeah, seems like I made it. Yeah. Let me, dark it. Oh, this is the tragedy. We don't go there. Mm. I made a mistake again. But anyway, yeah, it seems like not a perfect speed. Actually, we don't need a perfect speed. Anyway, uh, when you see these people, if Earth would have been a perfect sphere, look, let me see, is it visible or not? Oh, it's not visible to you people. I guess now it is visible. Fine. Am I visible? Yeah, I'm visible. Expect that's fine. Look, people. This is Earth is not perfect because if you measure the distance, this distance and this distance would have been equal, but this is not the case. slightly there is a difference around 40 to 50 kilometers. Fine. So there are certain I can give you, certain evidence that earth is not perfect sphere, but that will do, discuss it later. This is not a concern here. First thing is that earth is not a perfect sphere, because the distance between this point and this point, you know from north pole to south pole and the equator is not equal. This is the, first thing, is not a sphere. And one more thing, people, this is, flattened, sorry, it is flattened here. As you can see, it is flattened at the pole. Earth is flattened at the poles, and it is bulging, or it is bulged at the middle. Bulge at the middle. These are the points that you should remember. We see that this is, bulging here. Look, let me show you. When you see this, it is this kind of part that is, coming out of here. Fine. But as you see the top here, yeah, of course, and it's like kind of flat. Fine. So this is, flat, and this is flat and bulging. This is one thing. Then there is a one more thing, that this is the axis. Now, what is axis, people? Actually, the earth does not have any axis. For our, convenience, we have named axis. That what is axis? Let me tell you that earth rotates on its axis. Fine, it is tilted, 23 and a half degree. Fine. uh, so look, people. Yeah, this is there. Now earth is tilted in this way. Fine. If I put it like that, how? If I put it like that, you see the, the bottom of this particular globe, it is kind of, tilted, and you see that. Now you can observe that the earth is, in this position, earth is not tilted. But when I do that, when I put it in this position, the earth is tilted. Fine. Now what was saying, that the axis, what is axis? This is the north pole. Fine. And this is the south pole. So whatever the line, or let me make it here, goes from, let me see it. Is it visual or not? Look, people. This is north pole, and this is, uh, yeah, it is visible from here. This is north pole and south pole. From here to here, it goes for the, from north pole to south pole. Actually, I cannot, make a hole and let it be from it, and coming out of here. It's not like that. This is the line that is, passing through the middle of the earth, and on this north pole and south pole. This is what we call axis. So you can write it. What is axis? Look, the line that is, passing through the both the poles and in the middle of the earth. This is what we call as axis. Fine. So you can write it axis. What is axis? The needle. Fine. So what is axis? Let me write it in. Axis, the needle. Uh, that actually it's a fixed needle. Fine. It's a fixed needle that fixed through the globe. The needle, the fixed needle, the needle is fixed through the globe. Fine, this is there. You can say that the line that passes, both the poles and middle of the earth. Fine, or through the earth, both the poles and through the earth, we call as axis. Fine. Actually, there is no axis in the, real earth. We just it is considered as our convenience. Fine. So this is there. Now let's discuss some more terms. This was the axis. Fine. Let's discuss something about latitudes and longitudes. Fine. So the name of that chapter is latitude and longitude. Fine. And what's the direction of this Earth? In which direction it moves? It moves west to it in this direction. See people, it moves in this direction, west to east. Considering your sun, fine, west to east, fine, and or we can say anti-clockwise, fine. So let's discuss something about it. Latitudes and longitudes, fine. So first, let's discuss the latitudes. What are these latitudes? There are some important latitudes, fine, as it mentioned in some important latitude, or it is given the heading as some important parallel latitudes. Look guys, this is the earth, fine. There is another one, this is dark one, fine. This is the center of the earth. I'm defining what is latitude, fine. This is equator, 0 degree. Let's say we just make a line here, it making some angle like say 20 degree, fine. So the line making an angle at the center of the earth with respect to this equator, fine. This is what we call as latitudes, fine. This is latitudes. And what are the parallel of latitudes? Let me draw some of the latitudes. There are certain latitudes, parallel of latitude, fine. Look, this is 0 degree latitudes. uh, this is, let's say, 20 degree, and let's say 40 degree. These lines don't just forget about the definition that I given above, in terms of angle, fine. Just remember the lines, these are horizontal lines. This is what we call them as latitudes, fine. And there are some of the facts that they are always parallel, fine. So latitudes are always parallel, fine. It means their distance between two latitudes always same. So same distance. So distance between two, you can say the distance between this and this, distance between this and this, distance between this and this always remains same. And one more thing about that, if you see the length of this latitude, this is the latitude, fine. The length of the latitude starts decreasing from when we move from equator towards polewards. When you go from away from the equator, fine, maybe northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, fine. So the length of the latitude starts decreasing, and this is the 0 degree latitude, we call it as equator, fine. This divided the whole earth in northern and the southern hemisphere. This is the northern hemisphere and this is the southern hemisphere. So this 0 degree line is the biggest line, the longest line, that divides earth into two spheres, hemispheres, northern and the southern hemisphere, because this is the complete sphere, fine. So this is about some basic things for latitude. Now let's discuss, there are certain important latitudes, fine. Yeah, excuse me. Now some of the important latitudes. uh, some of the important latitudes, fine. So let me just draw the okay, I'll draw the some other one. Yeah, fine. So this is 0 degree, we call it as equator. Fine. Then we have 23 degree and half north and 23 degree half south. One more thing, people, as I discussed that this is equator, 0 degree. It's divided the earth into northern and southern hemisphere. Fine. So whatever the the lines or the latitudes coming above the 0 degree, we put this word north, 30 degree north, 40 degree latitude north. Fine. And whatever the in the below it's we take southern as. Fine. This is 30 degree, latitude, southern. In case of longitude, I'll be telling you that. Fine. This is basic thing, sometimes in PT they give they will make you confused. Fine. So this 23.5 degree north and 23 degree half in south, and this is what we call as tropic of Cancer, the upper one, and this is called tropic of Capricorn. Fine. Then we have another one, 66 and half north, and this is 66 and half south. This is what we call as excuse me. This is what we call as Arctic Circle, and this is we call as Antarctic Circle. Fine. This is there about some of the important latitudes, and after that it is mentioned that some of the important heat zones of the Earth. Now let's discuss in that some important heat zone of the marker is not, you know yeah, I've written that some of important heat zones of the Earth. Fine. You can see here the definition is given: heat zones of the Earth, or you can say. Now what are the heat zones of the Earth? From 23 degree north and between 23 degree north and 23 degree south, between tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn, whatever the area is, we call as toroid zone. We call this at toroid zone. Now what is this toroid zone? Where the maximum heat can reach, or it is having a region where it receives maximum heat, receive maximum heat. Fine. So this is toroid zone. And from look, people, here when I will teach about the seasons, you see that the overhead the sun, the position of the overhead in equator, the position of the overhead sun is 2 times a year. But as compared to this tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn, in a year there is only one time in a year. Fine. So there is a and after above the tropic of Cancer and below the tropic of Cancer, there is a no overhead position. Fine. The overhead, the position of the sun overhead, when the sun come over the head. Fine. So this is not there in case of this above and below, this tropic Cancer and tropic of Capricorn respectively. Fine. So what will happen there? It will receive the less heat. So that's why it is called a temperate zone. Temperate zone. And it's the same here is, this is what we call a temperate zone, because it receives, less heat. Fine, it receives, but as compared to the storage zone, it receives less heat, and there is a no overhead position. Fine. Then after that, this comes the third one. This is what we call the frigid zone. Now, what is this frigid zone? Frigid zone. Look, people, here, you know, the amount of heat received, almost reaches to the temperature here, does not rise much. Fine. So it receives less heat. It is very cold. Fine. Less heat, or it receives less heat. So less heat means very cold. Fine. So this is there. This is about the important, like eh, heat zone of the earth, the toroid, where the amount of heat received is maximum, in as and then it comes, temperate. The As we go from equator to towards poleward, from as we go towards poleward, the amount of received, whether it is uh, you know uh, north pole or the south pole, the amount of received, start decreasing. Fine. So this is there. Now comes to the longitude. Now what are these longitudes? Fine. Let me see the length of the video. Is it going fast? That okay? Fine, people. So now what is longitude? Uh, Let me see. People, I'll discuss, longitude in the next lecture, because I'm running short of time. Fine. So I hope just revise this one. I'll be uploading the next video. Fine. So thanks for watching.